thank Anne. We learned that she's a doctor, Dr. Ann Geller, and thank her for volunteering her time, and as I'm sure we'll see, her knowledge and her wisdom, and I'm sure we're all going to learn a lot. And you know, there are two goals or a few goals in these different classes we've been organizing, these different learning groups. One is to learn and to grow from the learning, and in that way also to prepare for Shavuos, but also so that we'll have these set times that this group of people will, we have once a week for the next handful of weeks. And it's a way for us to stay connected and to see our friends or interact with people who we don't know as well. But that also is something important that we're hoping to achieve. So I hope that everyone will enjoy and of course continue coming back, and hopefully we'll be successful in all these regards. So again, thank you, Anne, and I'll let you take over.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi. Actually, I want to start with some mechanics and admit that I'm not handy at all with computers, electronics. My normal computer is a Chromebook, and it doesn't allow me to do screen sharing and show pictures at the same time. So my husband gave me his computer, which makes me even less secure with my computer abilities. So bear with me. Certainly for today, I'm going to be, the source that I'm using is chapter 17 in Shmuel Aleph. If you have a Tanakh in front of you, you can just look at it. If you don't, I have in the chat box on the right, if you just click on chat on the bottom of your screens, you can open up the chat. There's a link to the source if you want to open it. And if not everybody has a source in front of them and you want me to display it, I can do that, and we'll see how it goes. And I can go back and forth between showing it, but I really want us to look at the text.
And sorry, I don't mean to cut in, but just one technical thing. I think if you put the link in the chat before, for the people who joined after you, they won't see it. So you might have to put it in again.
Oh.
Do people see, because I don't have the link in the chat box. Do other people?
Okay.
That's something I learned recently.
Oh, I don't have it either.
I don't see it.
I don't have it.
Yes, I think you joined first, since we all came after.
Yeah. Dr. Schwaber, do you have a Tanakh you can open?
No, I don't. I would appreciate you putting it in the chat.
Okay, I will try again.
Nice to see you all.
Yes, it's good to see everyone. Good to see you, Dr. Schwaber.
All right.
You're in Israel now?
In Israel.
Yeah, okay, wow.
Wow. All right, so let me introduce myself and have everybody introduce them, and then you'll give me a minute to try and put the source in the chat. And if I lose you, I'll be right back. Okay?
My daughter wants to get in. Hang on one second.
My name is Ann Geller. I'm a member at Kadima Torahs Moshe. I'm a doctor because about 40 odd years ago, I got a doctorate in philosophy. Taught philosophy for a little while till there was no tenure and no jobs. And I've been studying Jewish sources sort of on my own. I didn't grow up with a day school education, but I've been catching up. The Nevi'im Rishonim, the first part, the early prophets are wonderful literary units, and I hope we're going to enjoy studying them. Okay, let's just have everybody just tell me who you are and your names, and then I'll play with the source hopefully and get you them.
Okay, I'm Leah Sendik. I'm a member at YIB. Hello, everyone.
Sharon Algie, also member of Young Israel.
I'm Jules Schwaber. I've been a member at Young Israel from the time it was a 3-family house on Green Street.
Wow.
My wife and I are now retired in Modi'in, Israel. And it's a pleasure to see you all. And to participate, which I hope I'll be able to do regularly, but it's hard for me to predict. So if I'm not there, please excuse me, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Very nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And David Hellman is I'm very happy to be here with everyone as well.
You're not coming in as someone who has never done this before. If you've never learned, that's okay. Okay. Give me a minute to see if I can do this.
And like Dr. Schwaber, I hope to participate, but also maybe won't be able to every time. I can try also, and what do you want to put in there? Just a link to
Video.
Shmuel Aleph Perek Yud Zayin?
Let's do this. Okay.
Says Miller.
What perek do you want?
17.
Shmuel Aleph 17. Okay, and okay, let me see. Okay.
I get it. Wait, I'm almost figuring this out.
Here, I got it. And you just start teaching because I'll put it in just a second.
Okay. Okay. I have been told that the
Okay, it
sound
should be
is
there,
better-
everyone.
Yes. Oh, I worked very hard this morning to get it so that Hebrew and English were parallel to each other. Okay. What I wanted to start us learning with was the story of David and Goliath, David and Goliath, because number one, it's a story that people know, but it's really wonderful to read it inside. It's a literary masterpiece. It's wonderful. Often I'm struck in reading Nevi'im Rishonim how literary much of it is. The structure of a story, the structure of a unit of stories, and the language of it is wonderful. So I hope to have us be able to appreciate that. But also, I think if I were to find a story that's paradigmatic for who David is and what David represents, and what he represents as a leader and as an ideal leader, I think it's this story, because we really see it come out. So one of the things in particular I want us to see in this story is who controls the narrative, and what difference that makes, and how that progresses over the course of the story. Okay, so Dr. Schwaber, if you want me to put it on screen, or if you are okay following the link, let me know.
I'm following the link and it's fine. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Beautiful.
I see we have a new person. If, because there's a new name displayed on the bottom.
Welcome.
And your microphone is muted, so if you want to say hi, I can't hear you. But I just want you to know we're in Shmuel Aleph, chapter 17, and the link is in the chat. Okay? Okay. So let me give you the setting. Where we are in the course of Shaul and David's lives are Shaul obviously is king. He has a spotty at best record as a military leader fighting the Plishtim, and spotty just in terms of the nature of his leadership, not necessarily in terms of his success in battle, although we've seen him marginally successful. But we do have an indication in the end of chapter 14 that he actually is quite successful. But that may not be the point. Shortly before this chapter, we have chapter 14, which is the battle of against Amalek, and we know that that's a disaster for Shaul. whatever the success is in the military. And I think this contrast is important. And so the parak immediately preceding this one is Shmuel then goes to anoint somebody else, which turns out to be David, the youngest of Yishai's children. But it's unclear how many people know about, or even are clear, even the family, what it is that he's anointed for, which brings us to chapter 17. And I'm going to start reading from the text, okay? Everybody with me? I don't see any notes, so I'm going to proceed. Okay. All right. V'ya'asfu plishtim et machanehem lemilchama. So the plishtim are assembling for war, and the plishtim are the big bad, so to speak, at this time. V'ya'asfu soko asher Yehuda. They're actually in the territory of Yehuda. V'yachanu ben socha ben azeka be'efes damim. This is just letting us know where they are. They're in the territory of Judah. Efes damim, oh my, Rashi, Radak, everybody says, this is a place name, don't get too excited. Although there is some indication that Efes damim is perhaps a place where trials are held, where death is at issue. Okay. V'sha'al the East Yisrael nesfu v'yachanu be'emek ha'ela. Shaul and the rest of the troops of Israel gather and camp in Emek ha'ela v'yarchu milchama likrat plishtim. And everybody's getting for war. They're facing the plishtim. U'plishtim omdim el hahar mizeh v'Yisrael omdim el hahar mizeh v'hagai beinehem. So you have two camps for war, one at the foot of one mountain, another at the foot of another mountain with a plain in between them. So you have to picture it. It's completely cinematic. V'yetze ish habeinayim mimacharat plishtim Goliath shemo migat. So there goes out ish habeinayim, which I want to translate this as the go-between. One understanding of it is he's the guy who's standing in the middle. Beinayim is from the word bain. He's in the middle. The Gemara works with that and understands it from the word bana, that he's built like a house, or he's built so perfectly he has no blemish. So it's working on both his physical appearance and where he is relative to the battle. He goes out from the camp of the Plishtim. Goliath is his name. He comes from Gat, but Gavho Sheshamot Vazarach. He's 6.5 amot tall. An amma is here to here, so it's 18 to 24 inches. So he's somewhere between 10 and 13 feet tall. He's a big guy. V'kova nechoshet al rosho, and he's wearing a helmet of copper. V'shiryon kashkeshet hu levush, and he's dressed in an armor. This is completely chainmail. My son a while ago had a friend who made chainmail, and it's exactly this. The keshet is like a chain, and that's how you make chainmail. This is exactly what's being described, and the Rashi and everybody describe the way it protects you from arrows. So he has a full suit of copper chainmail. Umishkal hashiryon chameshet alafim shkalim lechoshet, and the weight of the armor was 5,000 copper shekels. It's really heavy, but he's really big. But nonetheless, he's strong enough to carry the weight of this amazing amount of copper. Mitzchat nechoshet al raglav. He has, this is something that's worn on the legs under most explanations, although Rashi has an explanation that it's like a yad of nechoshet, so some kind of a protrusion of iron that comes from his helmet down all the way to his feet. But most understand it as something worn on the legs, like overlapping plates of copper on his legs. The kidon nechoshet bein katefav. And my English says a neck guard, but Rashi and Radak, most people describe it as something with like a spear protruding from it. And in fact, the description in Radak makes it sound like he actually has a spear that he fastens to it. And this thing comes from his helmet onto his shoulders. So he's completely encased in copper. He's like, not the Iron Man, but the Copper Man. Although Iron Man was a scientist, and Goliath is sort of the personification of something from the ground, copper, and he's full of copper, and he is a military personality and impersonated. The Eitz Chanito Kamenor or Gim, the shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam. So you picture a loom, a big loom, and how big the boards are in the loom. That's how big his spear is. V'lahevet chanito sheish me'ot shkalim barzel, and his spear weighed 600 iron shekels. V'nosei hatzina holech lefanav. So you can you picture this personality that stands between them? So we have the setup of the opposing armies, and now this one guy in the middle who comes forward. V'yamod v'yikra el ma'arachot Yisrael. He stands and he calls out to the troops of Israel. V'yomer lehem, and he says to them, Lama teitzu la'aroch milchama. Why should we go out to war? To have a prolonged war. Anochi haplishti va'atem avadim l'Shaul. I am the plishti, and you are servants of Shaul. And avadim l'Shaul, I mean, we understand it as servants, but there's an undertone of your captive servants, which is true because there's a conscription for people to be in the war. They didn't have a choice to be there. Baru lachem ish v'yered elai. Choose for yourself a person, an ish, and he'll come down to me. V'im yuchal lahilachem iti v'hikani. If he wins and he defeats me, hayinu lachem la'avadim. We will be your avadim, your slaves. V'im ani yuchal lo v'hikiti. But if I win and I defeat him, if I kill him, v'hayitem lanu la'avadim v'avadatem otanu, and you will serve us. I think there's an undertone here of you're already slaves to Shaul. Send someone down, fight me, and if you lose, what do you get to lose? V'im ani uchal v'yomer haplishti ani herafti et marachot Yisrael hayom hazeh tnu li'ish v'nilchama yachad. And then he goes on to say, I will disgrace the battalions of Israel. Send someone down to me. So you can imagine the reaction in the camp of Israel and the force of his presentation. Is this, I mean, anybody who wants to stop me and say something, please do. I found with the other class I teach that Whereas people used to talk a lot over Zoom, people don't talk nearly as much, but please feel free to break in. All right, so this is his challenge. V'yishma Shaul v'kol Yisrael et divrei haplishti ha'ela v'yechatu v'yiru ma'od. So Shaul and all of Israel, meaning all of the soldiers collected, hear these words, and they're terrified and greatly afraid. They're quaking in their boots. But it's interesting that it's Shaul v'chol Yisrael. And we have to keep that in mind, how much of a distinction is there between Shaul and the people? What is the text trying to tell us about Shaul's relation? Okay. Everybody see the setup? Like you can picture it? Okay. There's a break and we turn to V'David ben Ish Ephrati hazeh mi Beit Lechem. Now we're like at the home front. We looked at the war front, now we're going to the home front. V'David ben Ish Ephrati hazeh mi Beit Lechem. David is the son of a certain Ish from Ephrat, from Beit Lechem, in Yehuda, Ushmo Yishai, and his name is Yishai. I mean, one of the reasons it says Ephrati hazeh is because we met him last chapter, or because he's a distinguished person. He's a distinguished person in his neighborhood. V'lo shmona banim v'ish b'mei Shaul zakein baba anashim. And at this time, Yishai is old. He's Baba Anashim. There are a number of translations of that. He has people who read before him, or he's old among men. And he's gotten old. V'yelchu shloshet b'nei Yishai hagadolim halchu acharei Shaul lemilchama. His three oldest sons have gone off with Shaul to the war. V'shem shloshet banav asher halchu b'milchama Eliav habachor. So these are the names of the three that went. Eliav is the Bechor, Mishnehu, Avinadav. The second is Avinadav, Ushloshi, Shama. But David, Hu Hakatan, and David is the littlest. Ushlosha Hagadolim Halchu Acharei Shaul. So just so you understand the family dynamics, David's the littlest. The big ones went off to war. David holech v'shav me'al Shaul. David goes back and forth from Shaul, which is at the end of the chapter 15, I think. Shaul, when he is told by Shmuel that the kingdom will be taken away from him, there's this expression Ruach Elokim, the Spirit of God, which dwelt on him, figuratively, so to speak. He lost it. He had this connection to God as king when he knew he was approved of, and he loses it. And this ruach ra'ah, as it says in the text, this kind of melancholy, which is the absence of that sense of connection to God, comes over him. And David has been coming to the palace to play harp for him, to soothe him. So this is what the reference is to. He goes back and forth to the palace, and when he's not at the palace, V'David holech v'shav me'al Shaul lirot et tzon aviv v'beit lechem. When he's not at the palace, he's taking care of his father's sheep. V'yigash haplishti hashkem v'arev v'yitzatev arba'im yom. And now we go back to what's going on in the front. This plishti goes out morning and evening, and this goes on for 40 days. So the expression morning and evening, it could have been boker ve'erev, but it's v'ha'arev, v'hashkem, v'ha'arev. And the reason is because it reminds us of when you get up and when you lay down. And the Gemara in Sota points out that he comes specifically at the time when they should be davening Shema. when they should be saying Shema. And he comes out and he challenges and he calls out words of disgrace when they're supposed to be saying Shema. So instead of being able to daven, they're listening to the words of the Plishti, of Goliath, which is, he's not just a challenge to them on the battlefield, he's interfering with their connection to God. And the Gemara points out also, Arba'im Yom, that's also a significant number. Arba'im Yom is the amount of time that Moshe was on the mountain getting the Torah. So he's interfering with Limud Torah as well.
You don't want to be near if you have to run a twine. That's how that black hole. No?
Hello? Somebody's in a box and I don't know who they are, but I'm hearing you.
Mobile Arab, mute your call.
Or come join us and tell us who you are.
She hears you.
Can you see our message?
It's not somebody looking for your husband, Leah, is it?
That is
Who
him.
you are.
Oh.
Mute it, guys.
We don't know how. Will you mute us?
He's made out of copper.
Oh, I don't have that capability.
All right, let me see if I
Not
can
you,
do
the
that.
Host. The host.
But before you mute us, remember he's covered in copper.
He's covered in what?
Copper.
He's covered in copper.
So when
Oh,
he
there
comes
we
out-
are.
When he comes out ha'arev, the hashkem v'ha'arev, he's coming out with the sun and going out with the sun.
Oh, that's true. And it must be shining off the copper.
So when he comes out, okay, in this brilliant, battered copper uniform, covering his whole enormous body, and the sun is just coming up over the valley, or the sun is just sinking down over the valley, he is the most brilliant, shining, beaming structure that you've ever seen.
That's amazing. Thank you, Rabbi Ben. Yeah, he's lighting up this plain between the two mountains and challenging them. But the contrast is so incredible because he is the epitome of everything that is just surface, like that's all right. So the rays bouncing off the surface and just sort of worldly and blocking out their ability to focus on what they're supposed to be focusing on. It's just in these two little words, it's really quite amazing to me. Okay. So V'yomi Yishai, I'm going to keep looking at my watch too, because it's already 1:30 and we got to be careful of, don't let me talk too long. V'yomi Yishai leDavid beno, kachna la'achecha efat hakali hazeh v'asar alechem hazeh v'charetz machaneh lechicha. So Yishai says to David, please take this ephah of toasted grain, these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers, hurry to the camp of your brothers. Seret haritzei halav ha'ela tavi lasar ha'elef ve'ed ha'achecha tifkod l'shalom ve'ed arubatam tikach. So he's sending him to find out how your brothers are doing, bring them food. There's more details I'll get to in a minute. And also bring these cheeses to the Sar Ha'elef. The people were divided into units of 1,000. And they're with a commander for the 1,000. Rashi says that he's heard that the Sar Ha'elef of the battalion that the brothers are in was Yonatan. Another source told me that possibly this is a reference to Shaul himself, that we have to think of taking care of the king too. But this whole setup of the father sending the little son actually the little son who we know is the favored, the anointed one, even though not too long ago he wasn't considered that, off to see how the other brothers are, and the other brothers who haven't been so kind to him. This is a classic setup. What does this remind us of? Anybody?
Is it Joseph?
Yeah, the parallels to Yosef are really quite amazing. Go and bring me back a report is one understanding of shalom. Yeah, inquire after the welfare of your brother. Tell me how they're doing. It's been at least 40 days. They've been off to war, and the father wants to know. But there's all these overlays of who David is, what's going on at the battlefield, and what exactly is in Yishai's mind when he sends his youngest son off to war, which, yeah, he's a grown-up, but he's the youngest son, and the three older ones are there to be the fighters. And it's a very pregnant, there are lots of parallels. And I mean, we'll see the parallels sort of continue, that he goes to see them and he ends up talking to somebody else, just like Yosef ended up talking to somebody else, and gets pushed forward. I want to take a minute to look at Aruba Tam Tikach. What is this Aruba Tam? So one understanding is see how they are. One of them is from the word like the alone kind of thing, because when soldiers went to war, they had to bring their own provisions, and they may have had to take out loans. So pay back, that's why Yishai is sending him with provisions. We have to settle up any debts you may have had in order to have your provisions. Another reading of it is it's connected to the sense of I want to get the word right here. Aruba Tam is soldiers, when they went to war, the practice would be to give their wife a provisional get in case they lost at war. So David is bringing these documents to make sure that they've finalized their provisional gets for their wives at home. So Yishai is part of what he's sending David for, is to make sure that all their either debts or their whatever they may be the condition of their wives are settled. But another way of looking at it, this is from Rabbi Ian Schaefer, who I listen to online. When you look at the root of Arav, as in Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'Zeh, he understands another layer of this to be, David is from the tribe of Yehuda, Shaul is from the tribe of Binyamin. This is a relationship that was forged when Yosef was already down in Egypt, and Yehuda stood up to the father and said, I will be responsible for Binyamin, let him come with me. It's the only way we're going to be able to go down and see that mean ruler in Egypt. He took on a responsibility, Yehuda, for Binyamin. So what Rabbi Schaefer is saying is, we as the tribe of Yehuda bear a responsibility to remember our responsibility for Binyamin, for Shaul, who's the king, and make sure that we take responsibility here, which I think is an interesting added dimension. And also on the parallel of David and Yosef, I want us to look at the relationship of David and his brother when we get there, because there's the same sort of not exactly warm welcome by the brother as it's not quite as bad as Yosef's brothers when he goes looking for them. But it may be that David's reaction to his brothers is different than Yosef's, and that he's, rather than being the sort of smart kid that Yosef was that provoked his brothers, David may be able to work out a different relationship, which is a kind of tikkun, a kind of repair for that relationship, which is kind of wonderful, since he will be the one to really be the king over everybody. Okay, all right. So now we're only a little bit into the story, and we've already established a whole lot is going on. Okay. So V'yesh came David b'boker, v'yitosh et hatzon al hashomer. He gets up early in the morning. So this is always a good sign when you get up early in the morning, going off to do either a mitzvah or a command of your father or something like that. Just as we have the model of Abraham getting up early in the morning. He brings he puts the sheep in charge of a shomer, so he doesn't have to worry about the sheep that he's not taking care of. The Yelech, and he sets out with all the things that he has to bring with him. The Yelech Hashet Sivahu Yishai, and he goes just as his father had commanded him. Vayavo hamagala v'hachayel hayotze el hama'aracha v'hereu b'milchama. So he gets there to the ma'agal, the encirclement, where the troops camped, but where they camped and where they went down on the verge of war, where they see Goliath coming out, but the sense of the two opposing camps are ready for war. So he comes and he sees that the army has moved to the front line, so to speak, and they're Heireu b'milchama, and they're shouting battle cries. So it seems this is the only glimpse we get of what's going on in the troops in Israel, and their reaction is battle cries. Nobody stepped up to challenge Goliath to be he's called for someone to challenge to come fight him, and nobody's stepping up, but they're whipping up for war. So whose terms are they reacting on? It seems to me they're reacting to the war environment and nothing else. But we'll see this more. V'ta'aroch Yisrael u'plishtim ma'aracha likrat ma'aracha, and they're deployed, battalion against battalion. V'yitosh David et hakelim me'alav al yad hashomer, and all the stuff that he's carried with him, he gives over to the shomer hakelim, because every battalion has somebody who keeps track of people's stuff, especially since they're on the front lines and the camp is here, and so somebody's in charge of the stuff. He gives it to the person who's in charge of the stuff. Yaratz, and he runs down to the ma'aracha, where the battle line is. Vayavo v'yish'al achav l'shalom, and he goes and he finds his brothers and he asks how they're doing. V'hu medaber imam v'hinei ish habeinayim oleh Goliath haplishti shemo migat mima'arachot plishtim. So he's got there, he's talking to her brother. So he got up really early in the morning, because Goliath hasn't even come yet. And now Goliath comes, so David can hear. And I just want to note that Vihine, hang on 1 minute while I silence this. Okay, thank you. That the V'hinei ish habeinayim oleh Goliath haplishte shemo migat is almost the same description as before. He's still ish habeinayim, but here it's ish habeinayim So when we first met him, it's Yatsa Isha Beinaya mi Machanat Plishtim Goliath Shemo, and now the order of the words are reversed. It's Hine Isha Beinaya, Hine Isha Beinayim Goliath Plishti Shemo. So first it says, the first time it's where he comes from, and the second time, and then his name, and now he's Goliath Haplishti. So he's like become the personification of the Plishti. He had said, I am Haplishti, and that's how he appears to everybody. This is in the body of this shining metal person, Plishtim. Okay. Vaidaber kadavrim ha'ela, and he speaks these words. We know what he said. We've heard him say it already. We don't have to say it again. V'yishma David, and David hears. V'chol Yisrael berotam et ha'ish, and all of Israel, when they see this ha'ish, this man, v'yanusu mipanav v'yariu ma'od, they flee from him and they're completely fearful. V'yoma ish Yisrael haritem ha'ish ha'oleh hazeh, and then they start talking to each other. Have you seen this man? Ki laharef et Yisrael oleh, he came only to disgrace us. V'haya ha'ish asher yakenu ya'ashrenu hamelech osha gadol. Anyone who can defeat him, the king will give great wealth. Ve'et bito yiteno, and his daughter you can marry. Ve'et beit aviv ya'aseh chafshi b'Yisrael, and his father's house will be chafshi, will be free. So instead of being avdei Shaul, they will be free, completely free, meaning they will be let out of the service of the king. In a couple of weeks, I want us to look at the Mishpat HaMelech, the rules about a king, and Shmuel's reaction, all the things that a king can do to one. If you have a king, you be freed from all the powers that a king can have over you. So these are the general soldiers talking to each other. V'yomer David el ha'anashim ha'omdim imo lemor. So David says to these guys standing around, Ma yaseh la'ish asher yakeh et haplishti halaz v'hesir hepat me'al Yisrael. What will be done for the person who slays this plishti and removes the shame from off Israel? Ki mi haplishti ha'arel hazeh ki heref ma'arachot Elohim chayim. Because who is this plishti, this uncircumcised plishti who thinks he can disgrace the battalions of Elohim chayim? And I want us to note that this isn't what the soldiers said. The soldiers said, he's disgracing our army. And what did David say? He said, Ma'arachot Elohim Chaim. He's changing the terms. So he's talking to the people who are soldiers, but he's either just because this is what springs from his lips or because he knows what he's doing, using his language carefully. V'yomer lo ha'am kidvar hazeh, and they told him again, Lemor ko yaseh la'ish asher yakenu. This will be done for the person who kills him. V'yishma Eliav achiv, and Eliav achiv hakadol, his big brother, hears him talking. V'dabro el anashim, v'yichar af Eliav b'David, and Eliav gets really angry at him. V'yomer lama zer yaradata v'al mi natashta ma'at hatzon. They ate ma'at hatzon. Ha'hena b'midbar. Bamidbar ani yadati hatzon hain. Bamidbar ani yadati et zadoncha ve'et roa levavecha ki laman raot hamilchama yaradita. So what he says, what are you doing here? How could you have left the sheep off in the wilderness? And I know you and your stubbornness, and the evil that's in your heart, or this sounds like, this is a big brother talking to his little brother. I know you spoiled kid kind of thing. But the what's in your heart, you've just come down to look at war. Who do you think you are, asking such questions as if you could go? Now, Radak says that one of the reasons he says this is because he thinks that David might be willing to go. And he's trying to protect him by discouraging him. So either he thinks David might go and he's chastising him for thinking, or he's trying to protect him from thinking. But the fact is he's really angry. So Vayasev me'etzlo. So David's reaction is he turns away from him. And I'm sorry, I skipped a line. Vayomer David ma'asiti ata. David's reaction is, what have I done now? Hello, Devarhu. I'm only talking. So he tries he attempts to appease him. He doesn't say, but of course I could do it. He doesn't say anything that's self-aggrandizing. I'm just talking. And then he continues to talk. Vayesov me'etzlo el mula acher. And so he turns away from his brother and he goes on talking with people. And he's sort of going around talking with people. V'yomer kadvar hazeh v'yashiv vuhu ha'am davar kadvar harishon. This conversation continues until v'yishma'u hadvarim asher diber David v'yagidu lifnei Shaul, until it becomes, people start to talk about, hey, this kid is talking about what is going on here? How do we allow this plishti to stand up and defame God? And the word is brought to Shaul, v'yikachehu, and he is taken to Shaul. And it's interesting that he's taken. So it's kind of hard for us to decide at this point whether he's taken because David himself hasn't made up his mind, whether he's been having these conversations with people because he's really trying to figure out what's going on, or because he's somehow trying to change the conversation among the troops. And I think that that's an important idea, this idea of changing the conversation. V'yomer David el Shaul, al yipol lev adam alav adecha yelech v'nilcham im haplishti hazeh. So David's reaction when he gets to Shaul is, don't let anybody be fearful. Don't let them lose heart. Avdecha, your servant, me, will go and fight this plishti. V'yomer Shaul el David, lo tuchal lelechet el haplishti hazeh lehilachem imo, ki nar ata. You can't go fight this plishti. You're a nar. You're just a boy. V'hu ish milchama min urav. And he's a warrior, an ish milchama, which is an interesting phrase because we know that's a phrase that gets used about God himself, but Shaul uses it about the plishti, and he's an ish milchama min urav. And I find that's a really interesting context. You can't go because you're a na'ar. This plishti, when he was a na'ar, he was already a fighting guy. It's almost a little disingenuous, but it's like Shaul's looking at him and saying, how can you go? And remember, Shaul hasn't gone. If anybody should be going, it should have been Shaul. But he hasn't. That's another whole discussion about Shaul and how he's feeling. So We're going to leave it at that. V'yomer David el Shaul, ro'eh haya avdecha, la'aviv betzon. So now David has to explain why he can go. I'm a shepherd for my father's sheep. Uba ha'ari ve'et hadov v'nasa seh me'ha'eder. And a bear and a lion would come and they'd steal a sheep. V'yatzati acharav, but I would go after them. V'hikiti v'hitzalti mipiv, and rescue the sheep from its mouth. V'yakam alai, and so it came at me. V'chazakti b'zikno, so I grabbed onto the beard. So when you grab on the beard of an animal, it opens its mouth, and so the sheep escaped. V'hikiti v'hamitiv, and I was able to strike it and kill it. V'yatzati acharav v'gam et ha'ari gam hadov hika avdecha. I defeated the bear. I defeated the lion. I defeated the bear. V'haya plishti ha'arel hazeh ke'echad meham. This plishti is no different than those animals. Ki cheiraf marachot Elohim chayim, because he disgraced the battalions of the living God. And then if you'll notice in the text, I don't know if all your texts show it, there's a pause. There's an open space. So clearly there's a pause in the conversation, as if Shaul's not convinced yet. And so David has to reframe. So V'yomer David, asher hitzalti miyad ha'ari, Hashem asher hitzalti miyad ha'ari u'miyad hadov, hu yatzileni miyad ha'plishti hazeh. God who saved me from those animals will save me from this plishti. And it's as if he's saying, Rashi says, now I know what I was saved for from those animals. God saved me from them in order to put me here so that I could defeat this person. Much like Mordecai could see that Esther was put in the palace for a reason. David is able to understand the things that happen to him that seem mundane as destiny. And so this is the argument that V'yomer Shaul el David, lech v'Hashem yemach, go, God will be with you. V'yalbesh Shaul et David madav v'natan kova nechoshet al rasho. So Shaul takes him and dresses him madav, with his own. So he dresses him with battle garments, but madav is his. So who's his? His is Shaul's. Shaul puts his own battle clothes on David, and a helmet on his head. V'yalbesh oto shiryon, and gives him some armor. V'yachkor David et charbo me'al lemadav, and David goes to tie the sword around lemadav, so on his clothes. And now it seems like the logical way to understand it is he's putting his sword around his clothes. The implication is that the clothes that were Shaul's now fit David. And this is clearly the way the Midrash reads it, that Shaul's clothes now fit David. Now, David's not particularly tall, and Shaul is particularly tall. We know that he's tall enough to be head and shoulders above everybody.
You think it could be a metaphor?
So it is. So in some sense, it's both. That when his clothes fit him, the passing on of clothes is a standard passing on of authority. But certainly, this is the suddenly these clothes.
But he's ready to do it. He's ready to be.
Yeah. But the Midrash also picks up on, as David looks at Shaul, and Shaul's face falls because he sees the clothes fitting this Na'ar, knowing that he's not going to continue as king, and
What?
something passes over his face, David suddenly steps away from actually wearing these clothes. That's how the Midrash reads it. So back to the description, he ties on the sword, and he is unwilling, he has trouble, he's not able to move. It's like the weight of this armor is heavy on him. It's almost as if he's saying, V'yomer David el Shaul lo uchal lelechet ba'ela ki lo nisiti. I can't go with this, all this armor stuff. Ki lo nisiti. I can't move. It's almost as if he's saying, it's not my way. I can't walk with these clothes on. Radak points out that no nisiti, it's related to nace. If I go out in armor against this better armored guy, it's just going to be armor against armor. That's not what I'm going to do.
What?
But so we have two layers here. We have the David Shaul relationship of Shaul taking him off to spare Shaul's feelings, and I'm not going out with armor on. V'yasreim David me'alav. And so he takes off the armor. So how does he go? V'kach maklo b'yado. He takes his staff, that's his shepherd's staff. So this is like Moshe walking around, right? He takes his shepherd's staff in his hand. V'char lo chamisha halukim avanim min hana'al. V'yasem oto b'kli haroim. And he takes these 5 smooth stones from the river, and he puts them in his shepherd's bag, which he wears. B'yalkut uv'kalo b'yado, and a slingshot in his hand. V'yagesh el ha-plishti, and he goes out to meet the plishti. Okay, we're running out of time, more than time here, so let's just dive in. V'yelech ha-plishti holech v'karev el David. So the plishti is walking, he's coming closer and closer to David. Va'ish nosei hatzina lefanav. And the armor bearer, there's David, there's the plishti, and a little armor bearer. So the plishti is hulking along with an armor bearer carrying a big shield, and then there's David with his staff. Okay? V'yabeit ha-plishti v'yir'eh et David v'yivzehu. And he looks and he sees David and he makes fun of him. Ki hayanar. Because he's a nar, v'admoni im yafei mar'eh. He's a redhead of lovely appearance. This is not the kind of person who goes to war. If you're a person of war, you don't have a beautiful face still. You're all hardened and etc. from fighting battles. This is not how David looks. Interestingly enough, the other Na'ar who is beautiful to look at is Yosef, which there's all kinds of consequences for that. V'yomer ha-plishti el David, ha-kelev anochi? You think I'm a dog? Did you come at me with a stick? So that's interesting too, because what is now the plishti focusing on? The stick. David has 2 things with him. He's got a staff and a little slingshot. What does Goliath see? The stick. This is like a sleight of hand. Vaykalel ha-plishti et Daviv be'elohav. And he curses David by his gods. V'yomer ha-plishti el David, lacha elai ve'etnena et basarcha la'of ha-shamayim u'lebehemat hasadeh. Come at me so that I may offer your flesh to the fowl of the heavens and the beasts of the fields. V'yomer David el ha-plishti, Ata ba elai b'cherev u'b'chanit u'b'kidon. You come to me with a sword and a spear and a
Javelin.
kidon is another kind of spear, a javelin.
Javelin.
Va'anochi ba elecha, but I come at you, b'shem Hashem tzvaot elokei marachot Yisrael asher herafta. But I come to you, so he doesn't, I come to you, what is my armor? I come to you in the name of Hashem tzvaot, the God of the battalions of Israel, whom you made fun of, who you
Ridiculed.
yes, thank you. That's the word. Who you ridiculed. Hayom hazeh yisagercha Hashem b'yadi. This day God will deliver you into my hand. V'hikiticha, and I will strike you. V'hasiroti et roshcha me'alecha, and I will cut off your head. V'natati pega machanei plishtim hayom, and I will offer the pega, the carcasses of the camps of the Plishtim today to the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the land. V'yedu kol haaretz ki yesh Elohim liYisrael, and everyone will know that there is a God of Israel. And further, v'yedu kol hakahal hazeh, this kahal, meaning Israel, will know ki lo b'cherev u'b'chanit Yehoshia Hashem. God doesn't save on the basis of swords and spears. Ki la Hashem hamlacha v'natan etchem b'yadenu. God, because the fight belongs to God, and He will give you over into my hand. And this is the centerpiece. He's there not just to get rid of this enemy who is attacking them. He's there also to make a point so that others will know, and so Israel will know how it is that they win. So he gets up, he comes closer to David. David runs towards him, towards the line, Ligrata Plishti, to meet him. V'yishlach David et yado el hakeli. He puts his hand into his bag. V'yikach misham even. He takes out one stone. V'kala v'yach et haplishti. Puts it. He slingshots it, and he hits him in the forehead. This is the one place that is visible. V'titba ha'even b'mitzcho, and it penetrates his forehead. V'yipol al panav, and the plishti falls on his face. V'yechazak David min plishti. David overpowered the plishti b'kela u'be'even, with a slingshot and a stone. V'yach et plishti v'yamitehu. He struck him and he killed him. V'cherev ein b'yad David, and he doesn't even have a sword. Now, don't forget, he said he was going to cut off his head, but he doesn't even have a sword. And it's just I love the details, just the way it's expressed. V'yaretz David v'yamod el haplishti v'yikach et harbo. So he runs and he takes the Goliath sword. V'yishlafa mita'ara. He takes it out of the sheath. Yeah, v'yomotatehu v'yichrat ba et rosho. And he had killed him, and he cuts off his head. V'yiru haplishtim ki meit giburam v'yanusu. And the men of Israel and the Plishtim see that their gibor, their champion, is now dead, and they flee. So the deal was, whoever wins, the others get to be servants. And the Plishti, now we have to be servants, and they all run away. And so Vayakumu Anshe Yisrael, Vayehuda, Vayariu, and now they're really yelling battle cries, and they chase them. And we don't have to read this in time because it's so late. They chase them and they defeat them, and everybody, the corpses are strewn all around. They completely defeat the Plishtim. V'kach David et Rosh HaPlishti v'yehu Yerushalayim. And David takes his head, and I think there's only a few more psukim, but we can finish up without having to do it inside because it's so late. And I'm sorry it went on so long, but it's just such a good story. The bottom line is there's an odd interchange with Shaul and his servants about who are you. So one way of understanding it is Shaul is actually now alarmed about, is this the guy who's going to succeed me? But another way of reading it is Shaul looks at David and what he's saying is, who are you? So we'll stop reading the text with that. I think the point that I want most to emphasize is that David was, that first of all, the battle scene, we're now 50 odd psukim into it, and we don't get to the battle scene until towards the end, and it's very short compared to everything else. So how Goliath gets defeated is not as important as that he does. And the fact that David's strategy is a really good strategy, that the deception with the mateh is interesting, but it's not, so it's important as king, as a leader, to have some strategy, but that's not the most important. The most important was the conversations that went on beforehand and the conversation that got him onto the field. Because it's those conversations that express to the people, what are you afraid of? And where is your strength really? In other words, who are you people? What is your role as the people of Israel? And so his statement, when he's on the field of I come before you in the name of God, is the heart of the story. But it's also, this is what makes David such a wonderful leader, is that he knows why he's there. And his role as leader is to show the people who they are, who they really are, who they can be, should be. A leader helps the nation see themselves in their best possible light, in what they ought to be, what their mission is all about. And that's how David was able to change the narrative about what's at stake in this battle. For Goliath, it was just a matter of, I am stronger than you. And yeah, he had certainly had more metal than they did, in whatever sense you want to take that term. But David changed the terms of it. That doesn't matter to us. That's not who we are. And that's why David was successful. Questions, comments, ideas?
Right.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Really great. Thank you.
They throw it.
Nicely.
Okay, next week I want to do the beginning of Shmuel's reign.